Oh yeah, party people. Jason Gully here, representing Tacos and Turntables podcast with my man Vicious V. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast. We got a lot of cool old school artists coming in with different topics. You know, taking you back in the day with behind the scenes of some of the freestyle movement, as well as hip hop and old school. We also offer merch on the Tacos and Turntables site, just like this shirt right here, keeping it old school. That's what we are. So that's what we're representing. Um, Stay tuned into the podcast. Towards the end, we're going to be doing contests and drop giveaways and stuff like that, and show you where you can get the drops, where you can get the merch, and upcoming stuff that we're doing with the podcast.
All right, guys, we're so blessed and so excited to have the artist Brandon with us today. It's the Tacos and Turntables podcast with myself, DJ Vicious V, and Jason Gully, and we got Brandon in the house. We're going to talk about all kinds of cool stuff. Brandon, man, so excited to have you, man. How you been?
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Awesome.
Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for inviting me.
You're so welcome. We're so excited to talk to you. We love 80s and 90s music, and wanted to ask you, how did you get started in music, man? What inspired you, or did you play an instrument, or what got you going?
I did play guitar, and I always sang since I was little. Since I was 5 years old. Mom and Dad put me up on stage, and I remember threw a little guitar in my hand and sang my little song.
That's awesome.
I think it was like a kindergarten kind of talent show, and it kind of stuck in my head. And then grew up listening to dance music, and my mom was a professional flamenco dancer, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we always had music in the house, always. When we woke up in the morning, her music was playing. So dance music was always a big part. And my dad, he loved R&B. He loved, a lot of James Brown, Tina Turner. So there was a lot of music. So that was one of the things that, I grew up with, just, learning how to dance. My mom would take us in the garage. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to do this stuff. And I would be dancing more like James Brown, and she said, "No, we're gonna do it like this," and like this, and I was a little too crazy.
No, that's awesome, man. Tell me about how did you get into freestyle and dance music? Because that was kind of like the big thing that kind of set you apart. Obviously, your unique vocals and your voice. How did that get going? How did you get started?
So during that period in the late '80s, and so we play. In our area, we heard a lot of rock, right? We heard a lot of rock through the stations, and then all of a sudden I started hearing this freestyle music, high energy music coming from New York and Florida, Miami. I started hearing all that type of music, and I'm like, oh, what's that, right? I like that kind of music. It's almost like how my mom's music was, very salsa, right? So I'm like, oh, I want to start getting into that. So I always sang and I always did music. So in different types of group. I did that rockabilly thing for a while because I like the Stray Cats, right? But it wasn't really it was dancing kind of music, right? Kind of like the 50s stuff, but it was just kind of fun stuff, right? So then when I started hearing that, I said, man, I want to start, doing music like that. And then I got the bug, right? So then I hooked up with John Roslada. Next thing you know it, we're in the studio doing moves, and it was exciting. It was exciting time. And we took it to John Christian at Hot 97.7 and said, here's my record, man. And I remember driving home back to my mom's house, and I had the station on, right? And all of a sudden he goes, hey, there's this new kid come out. He goes, just drop this record. And he played it. And I was like, you're kidding me. I had pulled over to the side of the road, right? Down on what was that? Coming down, I think it was coming down Tully Road or something. And I just pulled over and I just stopped and I just listened to it. And I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe he was playing it already. And then everything just started changing.
I almost can't believe it, man, because that song, it's so polished. It's so dope. I mean, I love it. It's one of my definitely top 5 like freestyle songs. And it's got it's like freestyle, but it's also very dance. It's not.
Yeah. It's not. Well, that's me, right? That's me, right? I'm not really a freestyle artist. Like I kind of think of myself as a pop artist that came out during the freestyle era, right? because my vocals are very pop, right? They're not the typical freestyle smoothie vocals that you hear, right? Like George Lamont, right? George Lamont, that guy can sing, right? Stevie B's got his own style too, Boy and then Steve and Johnny O, right? All those guys, you know. So like Charlie from Lanier, right? I feel like we're in that same kind of category, right? We're kind of not freestyle, but that pop, but artists that have some freestyle elements, right?
Well, it's kind of crossover-ish, yeah.
Yeah, kind of crossovers, right?
At one time, it started becoming pop, and that genre started going into pop music, like with Debbie Gibson and other artists. You know, yeah, you know, and you mentioned high energy. So when I was a kid, we always called it high energy.
Yeah.
Then the word freestyle, I didn't hear that and probably till like 1990, and I was like,
yeah, you know, and that's what I remember when it first came out. They were calling it high energy, right? The expose, Cover Girl, all them, right? And then all of a sudden it started becoming freestyle, right?
Yeah. Which I'm thinking.
Well, then there was what, that Latin hip hop, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Thump Records put out a couple compilations and called it Latin hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which that was the first too to hear it away. But I could see where they're going with it because of the drum machines, and it was definitely a Latin sound. The whole freestyle high energy thing.
It was exciting, right? When all that started coming out and all the every different styles that from every different parts of the United States were having their own little, like the Chicago sound and the Florida sound and the New York side, and then you got the California sound.
Yeah, well, and they all fit well together. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, they all complement each other, right? They all have their own little bit of flavors, and everybody is kind of, you know, is kind of taking from each other, right?
And it's still the best love and heartbreak music out there too.
Yeah, right.
You know, I'm really surprised people don't cover a lot of those songs. You know, but I mean, love and heartbreak's not big on the radio right now, but back at that time it was.
It was, right?
Yeah, the 80s. Yeah. No matter what genre of music, if you listen to an 80s countdown on XM or something, it's all these love and heartbreak songs.
Yeah, almost like country, right?
You know, even Garth Brooks could be like, we could take some of his songs and make a freestyle record out of it.
I know, right? Right? Because it's all heartbreak type of, and just like you said, you know, the freestyle music was all about that. And still now, like you hear a lot of the new stuff that's coming and these new artists that are coming down the pipe, right?
Yeah.
Right? There's some good artists right now that are coming out. You know, I'm like, holy man, I'm hearing the new ones coming out, these youngins that are coming. I'm like, man, they can sing.
Well, and they came up off the old stuff, and you know, and plus all these freestyle shows that have been going on is keeping it alive. You know.
Yeah, it was. You know, I'm really surprised on how much it's really been developing. Right, I kind of broke away from the whole scene, and then now that I've kind of got waken up by Gino from 418 and Hot 97.7, and them guys kind of woke me up, and then I started listening, and I started hearing all this. You know, all this hype on freestyle coming back, right? And these guys are all doing shows. I'm like, wow. Yeah, you know, the internet really helped bring it back alive, I think, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, social media is huge. I mean, you know, I follow Turner and Cynthia, and
and
they're constantly doing shows. They're out there
constantly, right? You constantly see them doing shows, right? And I'm happy for them because, you know, they're out there performing for the fans.
Yeah, well, yeah, because back in the day, nobody really performed freestyle. Like, I mean, there was little shows here or there, but it wasn't like it is now, like how massive it is, you know?
Yeah, they're doing cruises. I'm all like, wow. They got some freestyle cruise, right? Come and join us on the freestyle cruise. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
I haven't went on one of those yet, but I'm definitely down.
Yeah, I know.
No. That's why we started the podcast, Brandon, because there's so much love for this music. It speaks to so many people, but it was almost like it's like underground, and we wanted to kind of bring it to the forefront, and everybody loves it. So can you tell me about Hot Day South Bay? I remember back in the day, I saw you perform at Hot Day South Bay. I'm sure we're going to get some people watching this that were there or were part of Hot 97.7 or they were listeners. Because it looks like that song kind of set you apart and got everything kind of catapulted you into other things, right?
That's
right. Tell me about that?
Yeah, so you know, with the success of Move hitting #1 in the Bay Area, and John Christian and all the Hot 97.7 crew like Krista and them they started invited us to do the shows, and we were we really wanted to perform for the audience, right, and for the fans, and hopefully get people excited about the Brandon wave, we call it, right, and so yeah, we started doing a lot of hot days and hot nights, and it was exciting meeting all the different type of artists that were coming and doing the shows with us. But one thing I said, if I ever get a chance to come back, I'm going to take pictures. So we did shows with like everybody. I think the only person I took a lot of pictures with was Johnny O, but we did shows with CoverGirls, Expose, Stevie B, you name it. We were taking, doing shows with them, and I didn't take no pictures with them. I don't have not one picture with all these artists. I'm like, oh my God. Except for Johnny O, I got a couple with him for whatever reason. In Charlie's like one of my best friends, right, in the music business. And we have videos together, right, doing shows and stuff, but no, like, okay, let's take a picture. Nope, not one.
Yeah, just the whole invention of selfies is so big now. And
I know.
That's what it reminds me of. Is I feel the same way about that whole era. Like I should have taken so many pictures and I didn't, and now I just have the memories. But hey, just what can you do? So
I know.
Tell me about, so after Moves, that came out in 1989, and then 1991, Kisses in the Night and Destiny came out. Well, that's when it was released. How was the recording of those songs? How long did it take, and what was the process like?
Yeah, so Destiny, we had recorded it originally in San Jose. And then when the success of Moves attracted all these other labels to come and, take a look at us. When I say us, I always say us because even though I'm Brandon, I always think of my boys as a big part of me because, we've been friends for over 30 years, right? So Pete and Joe and Tim and all the guys, John Roslata, all those guys, I still consider them. And when I talk about Brandon in the project, they are a part of it, right? So I couldn't do it. I couldn't do what I did without those guys, right? So anyway, we did Destiny in San Jose, the original one. And then when Alpha International signed me, they sent me back to CGT. And then we re-recorded the Destiny song, and then he put his magic on it. And during that time when he was doing the mixing, we were completing Kisses in the Night. And then that's when Charlie and Wyatt came from Lanier, and then they put their magic on, right? Wyatt picked his guitar on there, put on that magic. And then Charlie did some parts with me. We did some parts like, he did Descending All My Love. But then Charles Christopher, remember him? Oh my God, that guy can sing, all right? So he sang on Kisses in the Night. He put that magic on there. God rest in peace. And Destiny, right? Those my two tracks that were really very, popular. He put his magic on that, What a great talent he was, right? And
wow, you dropped me some knowledge. You dropped me some knowledge. I didn't know any of this. Obviously, as more of like a fan or listener, I hear the song, right? But this is like background. This is honestly part of the reason that we want to do the podcast, to kind of go behind the scenes. And you're dropping some knowledge there, Brandon, about how the song was made, and that's just awesome. I didn't know that, and hopefully people can appreciate all that.
Yeah, you got to listen to Charles Christopher, man. He's like, we're down here singers, like their quality, and he's like way up here. Wow, I mean, man. So when he did Destiny, I flew from California back to there, and it was like the red eye. So I remember I was like dead. I remember I crashed out in one of GT's guest rooms or something, and Charles Christopher came in, and I remember hearing him, but I was kind of still sleepy, and I could hear him just doing his magic on Destiny. I was like, man. Yeah. And then when we did Kisses, he came over there and did it again. I'm like, man.
Yeah. You recorded that on the East Coast, or?
Yeah, we did Kisses in San Jose. So we did everything on Kisses of the Night in San Jose. Yeah. At Bruce Tambling's studio. I don't know if you remember Bruce Tambling.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. We recorded everything in there. Yeah. But Destiny was all back at GT's, Fort Lauderdale, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next song I think that was recorded, correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon, was "Don't Go Away."
Don't go away.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was that process like? I know you work with Noel, right?
Yeah. So, at that point, I was already making the transition onto my next stage of my life because, pretty much freestyle was done, right? Everything was switching over to more hip hop and rap, right? So the freestyle was done. And I just remember Noel pinging me and saying, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And I said, "Nah, I'm not doing anything, not really much, right?" Because there wasn't much going on anymore for artists like us, right? And he says, "Hey man, I got this track, once you come down to the Bill studio and see if you want to do it." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I went down there and he showed me the track. I said, "Oh yeah, okay." So I think I learned it that day and sang it that day.
Well, it's a dope song, man. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if I'm sure you heard all the versions, but there's also like a DJ dub version.
Yeah.
Speaking of DJs, because we're DJs, there's a dub version in there, which is kind of like a thing you would play between songs, and of course the single with an intro and all that good stuff that you could play. So very, very dope record. I have the vinyl. But yeah, man. So what happened after that? And of course we're going to talk about your new single. But,
Yeah.
Chronologically speaking, what happened after that?
So, I was already, like I said, was already going on to the next stage. And so I remember they were promoting it. It was getting a lot of noise. So I was tripping out, right? But Noel and them, they put their magic on that track. So I was really happy. So I was surprised on how well everybody was receiving it, right? And there was still a big community of freestylers still living under the ground, right? Still underneath the pop scene, which was not playing us anymore, right? But the freestyle family was still embracing it, and they were still, playing the songs, right? Which is even like right now, right?
Yeah.
I always feel like freestyle music and that genre didn't get the credit that it should have, like all the other types of styles, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All the other types of music that were coming through from all the way back from the 40s on, right? And then you see the history of music and rock and roll, and then you hardly ever see anything about freestyle. And I'm like, that was a big thing, right?
Yeah, no, it's so big, especially in the San Jose and a lot of areas, right? And I wonder why. I honestly don't have an answer for that one. I'm sure it has to do with the record industry somehow and some of their metrics. I really don't know. So chronologically, Brandon, what happened after that? There was you were kind of a hiatus. Was there other records released? And of course, I know you have a new single that just came out.
I just kind of, went to a different phase and, kind of just backed away from the whole music thing, right? And yeah, like you said, I kind of disappeared, right? I really kind of did disappear until just recently, right? So, but I always would go into the studio and mess around every once in a while, just like I think it was in the mid 2000s or so. I remember Johnny O was still doing shows, and he came to San Jose and he pinged me and he said, "I'm doing a show down at the club." He goes, "Why don't you come down?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then that's when I saw Melissa. She was performing because she had that song. Her album was out, right? Remnants. So I remember I met her and I really liked how she sang. And I said, one of these days, I want to ping you and maybe we can do some stuff together, because I really like your vocals, right? So she said, yeah. So I remember it was MySpace, right? Remember MySpace?
Yeah.
So that's how I was in contact with her all the time, through MySpace, right? And so I told her I wrote this song called, at that time I called it Back and Forth, but it was I Want Your Love. And I said, and I really want to go back there and do some more vocals on it. And then maybe I could have you do some backgrounds on it, right? And do some other little ad libs and stuff. And so she came in and we did that track. And then I just kind of let it set for about, and then Gino, which is the nephew of Mark Milano, which is the AR guy for Alpha International back in Philadelphia. Well, I always kept in contact with them. And then he pinged me and said, man, what are you doing? I said, nothing. Just doing like everybody else, man, raising a family and, just doing what we got to do, right? And he says, we're thinking about, re-releasing all your stuff. You down for that? I'm like, yeah, put it back out, right? And then he says, you got any new stuff or any stuff? I said, well, I kind of did a couple of tracks. I said, so I sent it to him and hooked me up with Gino. Next thing you know, we're talking, and within 3 weeks we did the deal. And next thing you know, we're remixing it. And I mean, it was that fast. Wow. I mean, it went that fast. Next thing you know, it was on the air. That's how fast it went.
That's crazy, man. And I know it's doing really well as far as the charts and stuff like that. I've been keeping up and looking at that.
Yeah,
it's another dope song, and of course everybody wants to hear all the new stuff that you have, of course the old stuff and the new stuff.
Yeah.
So Brandon, tell us where people can find out about the single, about you. You probably have a website, or they can contact you, or check up on your new music and stuff. Is there like
on Facebook? Well, it's on Spotify, it's on Beatport, it's on iTunes, Apple. You can find just do a search on Brandon I Want Your Love, and it'll pop up. Then you also know me on Facebook, Brandon J. Michaels on the Facebook, and then I have the Brandon Michaels Official on Instagram. So those are all the places that you can find me, right? But if you go onto your, all the digital outlets and stuff like that, you just type in my name and it'll pop up. Yeah.
Awesome.
And then we got some other stuff coming too. So after this one, we have another one coming. So which Melissa also worked on with me. So
when do you think that might be coming out? I know it's kind of hard to tell because sometimes there's production delays and time.
Yeah, we did all the vocals, everything is done like that. So it's just getting the right mix. But we also are going to release 2 more mixes of I Want Your Love, more of a dance, and another one for a house. So we'll cover those nice. Areas too. So those ones should be coming out in July. So very soon. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Brandon, so man, one more question. The podcast is called Tacos and Turntables. So I got to ask you about the tacos, man. Either your favorite taco spot or the best tacos you ever had.
Well, the best tacos that I ever had was the carne asada that my great aunt Victoria used to make. And then I don't know if you know that, but my great aunt, she had a Mexican restaurant over in San Jose called El Charros.
Oh,
that
wow.
was her restaurant, yeah. And so I just remember that she used to make the best tacos and stuff.
No,
so,
I bet.
But there's so many good ones. You go down to San Jose, there's so many good, and those little food trucks, right? Sometimes you get the best tacos from the food trucks, right? Better than sometimes if you go inside the restaurant, right? I remember Noel took me. We were down at the DJ booth and we were talking and stuff. And he goes, hey, you hungry, Brandon? I'm like, yeah. He goes, let's go get some tacos. And he pulled up to one of them food trucks, and man, it was so good. That was, in Salinas, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think I know Jason is a big connoisseur of the tacos, especially the taco trucks. He knows which ones are really good, which ones are maybe not as good.
There's a killer one right around the corner from the store. So,
man, where's your store at?
I'm in Modesto, California.
Oh, you're in Modesto. Okay. Yeah, you must got some really good tacos too over there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, all through California, all the way down, right? Man, there's always good
spoiled over here on tacos.
I know. See, now you're making me hungry because it is dinner time.
I'll probably be getting close to dinner.
I know.
Yeah. Nice.
Brandon, man. So thank you so much, brother, for giving us the time. I know you're a very busy man, and I'm a big fan of your music, bro. So I really, really appreciate it. You kicking the knowledge as far as how the songs were made, the timeline, the new music that you got coming out. I'm sure people will be excited about that. Yeah. I'm really excited about it. I didn't know that there was going to be other projects and plus the remixes that you mentioned.
Yeah, the remixes. Yeah.
So I feel blessed, man, and thank you so much for giving us the time. I know you're very busy, so
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you're just as
And,
busy too, so I appreciate everything that you guys have been doing. Right, you're bringing it back up to everybody. Right, you're bringing the music that we grew up listening to and participating. Right, so I think that everybody that's whether you're a DJ, a radio person, an artist, a fan, I think it's everybody putting their energy towards this music and bringing it up. It's just not the artist or the singer. It's actually everybody, right?
Yeah.
oh,
It's really
thank
a
you, bro.
family. It's really a family thing.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned people from Hot 97 like Krista. She's always been such a good person and very hardworking. Instrumental and at Hot 97 and everything else that she does.
Yeah.
There's a
I
lot of
still
people
talk to her too.
Yeah,
30 years, man, and I
Yeah.
still talk to everybody. I still talk.
She's great. She's great, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Thank you so much, Brandon.
Thank
And
you.
we look forward to talking again, man. When you have another single, that'd be awesome. And
Yep. I'll be ready.
and we're gonna post whatever links you want to send me. We'll post them at the bottom there so people can access them as far as like maybe Spotify, wherever your music is. Any
Yeah.
links that you want to put out there, we'll put them out.
Okay.
But, yeah, man. Thanks again. And
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
All
Brandon.
right.
Yeah, much
All right,
respect.
man.
Where's my tacos?
Hey,
Tacos are coming.
you pick me up and I'll take you to the spot.
I know it.
Yeah.
All right, my man.
If you ever want to do an in-store over here too for the fans, let me know. We can
Oh yeah.
definitely the
That'd be
door
awesome.
open for you. So
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
thank you. Much respect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure you check out the links on YouTube. We got links to the shop for the One Stop DJ shop, which is what I represent. We got links to good tacos. We got links for mix show drops. So yeah, just check it out. And also, most importantly from you guys, this is what we need. We need you guys to do this. We need you guys to hit subscribe and hit the bell. So hit subscribe helps us grow the channel. You hit the bell, this sends you an email when we put up a new podcast. So it gives you a heads up so that way you can go in there and check it out and get the information that we're giving behind the scenes, like with artists that we're interviewing. So yeah, Tacos and Turntables. It's me, Jason Gully, and Vicious V.